Cleveland's live 24-hour news source continues. This is TV5 Eyewitness News with Jim McElroy, meteorologist Shane Hollett, Bob Stevens with sports, and the Eyewitness News team. Brought to you by Ohio Edison.
Good evening. On a very personal level, the crisis in the Persian Gulf came to an end tonight for about 300 Americans. 300 former American hostages in Iraq are back on American soil tonight. They arrived in Charleston, South Carolina, greeted, as you can see, by hugs from loved ones. They arrived later than expected, though, because the 747 jet they were on was forced to land in Nova Scotia when a woman and 3 children needed immediate medical attention. Now, the former hostages are now on their way back to their homes across the country. And Tony Gaskin spent this evening with a Canton family who was waiting for the last leg of that long trip to come to an end.
This is where Charlene Lehman and the rest of her family have been spending most of their time, around the television set, listening for news of the American hostages released from Kuwait. Lehman's daughter Kim and her 2 daughters are among the latest group of Americans that landed today in Charleston, South Carolina. Her mother can't wait to welcome her home.
I was just worried to death. I didn't know where she was. I didn't know if she was all right. I knew nothing.
Until she was released.
Until the 7th, when she was released.
Kim is married to a Kuwaiti and has lived in the country since 1985. On the day of the Iraqi invasion, Kim called here from Kuwait. She had no idea what was going on. It was her mother who told her the Kuwaitis were under attack. When Lehman last spoke to her daughter, she says there wasn't much Kim could say.
She said, "I'm fine. The kids are fine. Did you see me?" I said, "I saw you on television."
Tonight, Mrs. Lehman sat close to the phone, answering each call with tense nerves.
In Nova Scotia, and they just landed in South Carolina.
Oh, all right. The TV station's been here waiting. We didn't know whether they had landed or not.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's on CNN.
Oh, okay.
Lehman's daughter may not be home right now, but her family is resting a lot easier knowing she is out of Kuwait and out of harm's way. In Canton, Tony Gaskins, Eyewitness News.
And Mrs. Lehman's daughter is bringing home a new member of the family. Kim is 4 months pregnant with her 3rd child. Her family, though, doesn't know where her husband even is at the moment. Meantime, the Superpower Mini Summit, the one on the Gulf crisis, may be remembered as much for what it didn't accomplish today as what it did. President Bush and Soviet leader Gorbachev came out of their meetings united on the principle that Iraq must get out of Kuwait. In fact, at their news conference afterwards, the president couldn't seem to wait to read the key provision of the summit's joint statement.
Nothing short of the complete implementation of United Nations Security Council resolutions is acceptable. As soon as Saddam Hussein realizes that, then there certainly will be a peaceful resolution to this question.
But Gorbachev agreed only to reduce the number of Soviet military advisors in Iraq from 196 to 150, not pull them all out, though he says they won't take sides if war breaks out. And the 2 sides didn't even discuss joint military action, which some people thought might be the cornerstone of the summit. Across the continent of Africa from the Persian Gulf, the country of Liberia is caught in its own battle tonight, and the latest victim is the Liberian president, Samuel Doe. These pictures were taken in June. Doe was shot several times and captured by rebel leaders today. At the time, Doe was meeting for peace talks to end an 8-month-old civil war. A rebel leader says he is now the president of the country. Here at home, a condemned killer in Oklahoma is just 2 hours away from execution. Today, the U.S. Supreme Court refused to block the death sentence of Charles Coleman. At his trial in 1979, Coleman was convicted of killing John Seward, who, along with his wife Roxy, were brutally shot and killed when they surprised a burglar. That's Oklahoma's execution chamber, where Coleman is scheduled to die by lethal injection. 3 years ago, Coleman got within 48 hours of execution before an appeals court stopped it. At that time, I talked to Coleman on death row. He told me he had a newfound Christian faith.
You've confessed everything that you need to confess.
Yes, everything that I've done.
And you don't need to confess a murder.
No, I don't, because I didn't kill them people.
A prison spokeswoman says Coleman is still confident and as normal as could be expected. Oklahoma Governor Henry Bellman has refused to stop Coleman's execution, saying Coleman has a sadistic streak of behavior. An early evening shooting took the life of one man tonight. It happened at East 119th and Buckeye. 4th District Police do not have many details on what led to the shooting, but the victim was shot in the head and was dead by the time EMS units arrived at the scene. Police in Garfield Heights are looking for help in the case of a missing 68-year-old woman. Josephine Bellina has been missing since early Saturday morning. She is 5 feet tall. She weighs about 120 pounds. Police are concerned because she is a dialysis patient and is taking medication for a heart ailment. Her doctor says if she's not found by sometime tomorrow, she could be in serious medical danger. Take a close look at that picture, and if you have any information on this woman, call the number on your screen. It's the Garfield Heights Police Department at 475-1235. Still to come on Eyewitness News at 11.
I personally think I did the right thing.
What Tony Moran did was jump into the violent waters of Lake Erie last week, trying to save people aboard this disabled boat. Why he did it, next.
Always at your service, we got a job to do. Making life better and brighter for you. Working with companies from all around, bringing new opportunities to your hometown. We're Ohio Edison, your neighbors and friends. Ohio Edison, the people you can count on. Count on us, count on us.
I got the call in the middle of the night. My father was in intensive care. I had to be on the next plane to Chicago. I needed more credit on my Citibank Visa.
He immediately called the Citibank 800 number. He told me he needed emergency credit, and he told me why.
She got $600 approved at 3 in the morning. Citibank was there when I needed them, so I could be there when my father needed me.
Not just Visa, Citibank Visa.
See this truck? It's the best-built, best-selling truck in America. See this cap? It was free. Now with all new F-Series pickups, get this $890 value absolutely free. F-150 comes with V8, air, AM/FM stereo, deluxe wheels, and a great clearance price. And for a limited time, get special financing or cash back from Ford. America's best in a truck cap free. Now that's a deal the competition can't top. No wonder your Ford dealers are winning Ohio over.
30 years building cars, but I've never put more into it than I do today. We want to build products Americans can be proud to own, and we've got the skills to do that. But we won't beat the competition if American workers are considered expendable, if our good jobs are shipped overseas. We've worked hard to turn things around because we want the U.S. auto industry to win. But we want to share in that success with secure jobs for the future.
The UAW, because American jobs are worth fighting for.
No interest sale at Carpet Bond. Monsanto wear-dated carpet, pad, and labor, $12.99 a square yard. No interest, 12 months to pay at Carpet Bond.
Who can forget these pictures? Thursday night, a killer storm tossed this boat like a toy on Lake Erie. 3 people died. Now, believe it or not, someone jumped in these waters to try and help. Tonight, the man who jumped in there says he didn't think ahead of time, he just acted on impulse to try and help. And Tony Moran did not escape unhurt. Before the Coast Guard arrived, Tony says he jumped in the waters and swam towards the crippled boat. But then a huge wave smacked him and hurled him literally over the breakwall. Tonight, his leg is in a cast with severe ligament damage. But Tony told me tonight, few people seem to respect what he tried to do.
Ever since the accident happened, I'm walking down the street and people go, "You're crazy," and it really kind of hurts,
It also hurt him financially. Tony says he jumped in so fast he forgot to take out his checkbook or his wallet. He lost both. A Cleveland hazmat team was called out to a potentially dangerous situation today. They went to the ferrous metal processing plant in Brooklyn after an undetermined amount of hydrochloric acid was found in a tank on the property. Brooklyn firefighters discovered the substance while they were putting out a small fire at the plant. After several hours of double checking, though, hazmat determined that there was no danger and there were, fortunately, no injuries. It's a problem that many people who travel are familiar with. What can you do to make sure you get your money's worth from the hotels or motels you stay in? Well, Lee Jordan tackles that problem in tonight's Consumer Report segment.
No matter what you spend for a room, you can find good hotels and not so good hotels. That's what Consumer Reports learned after asking its readers about their experiences at hotel chains. What impressed the readers?
Two things really mattered the most. One was how clean the accommodations in the room was, and the other was the staff, how helpful and efficient they were.
Take the Hampton Inn chain. It beat out such competition as Motel 6 and Days Inn in the economy class. Consumer Reports readers said Hampton Inns were well run, with extras like snacks in the lobby, complimentary breakfasts, and free newspapers. You'll find hotels like Holiday Inn, Howard Johnson, Ramada, and Best Western in the moderately priced category. But none was a winner.
They turned in a kind of mediocre performance, so there's really no reason to stay at them unless you're getting a discount from the Auto Club or some other organization.
In the more expensive range, the high marks went to Marriott's new Residence Inn. One reason, spacious rooms with kitchens. As for luxury hotels, Four Seasons racked up the top scores by a wide margin. Even at prices that exceeded $200, Consumer Reports readers thought it worth the money. The worst chains in the Consumer Reports survey were two budget hotels, the Red Carpet Inn and the Scottish Inn. Lee Jordan,